The innovations at Oura Ring continue. That's our Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. With us is Aura's Director of Product, Jason Russell. Hi, Jason.
Hey, Fred, thanks for having me.
Terrific. Well, I'm glad you could join us. And the Oura Ring has won many fans as a wellness tracker that brings, I think, extreme comfort to sleep monitoring and a lot more. Today, it can do more than ever. So give us an overview of what some of the latest innovations are.
Absolutely. Well, as I'm sure you've seen, like you mentioned, we've really made our name in sleep and continue to invest heavily there. With our Gen 3 ring, we do a lot more. As I'm sure you've heard, we've got improved temperature sensing in the Gen 3 ring. We're now measuring your daytime heart rate throughout the day. We've made a big push into women's health with period prediction and much more coming on the back of that, as well as measuring your heart rate during workouts. And then recently with blood oxygen, so SpO2 sensing. So really, even in just the last year, 23 new features. We've been investing very heavily in the product, and a lot of more recent launches as well. I'd be happy to share more about with you.
Sure. And the technologies are built into the ring so that when you do updates, people don't have to necessarily go out and buy new hardware with Gen 3, right?
That's right. Gen 3 did come with some new sensors. And so the releases we've had since launching Gen 3 come right there with the Gen 3 ring. So we now have the infrared LED, a green LED, as well as a red LED. And those green and red LEDs enable SpO2 and workout heart rate features. So we'll launch new hardware with these capabilities that allow us to light up new features as we develop them and leverage those new capabilities.
And now there's a partnership and you're bringing data onto the Apple Watch. Tell us about that.
That's right. As always, just looking to deliver member value. And we know there are, a fair number of Oura Ring wearers that also wear an Apple Watch. And we saw an opportunity to make our data really close at hand for them. The Apple Watch is, at the end of the day, another display, and one that's quite easily available and readily available without having to pull your phone out. And our members want a quick access to their readiness score, their sleep score, their activity score, and to just keep up with how active they are throughout the day. Making that information available on their wrist, we thought was a great way to enhance the Oura experience.
That's sort of instead of taking out the phone and bringing up the Oura app, right?
That's exactly right. And the Apple Watch makes it possible to glance at your wrist, get a reminder of your readiness score for the day. Maybe as you're going into a big meeting, it's a chance to see, oh, am I going to have to fight a little harder to make it through this meeting, or am I ready to perform at my best? That sort of thing.
It's interesting because that readiness score that people may not be familiar with that. I'll let you describe that to us more fully. But sometimes I wonder, does it have a psychological effect on us when you look at the readiness score in the morning and you say, and it's high, and you feel you can psychologically tackle a lot more than maybe you ordinarily would feel?
Certainly. No, I think that's fair to say. The readiness score, again, we measure your sleep, we measure your activity, and the readiness score is really a combination of the two, where we understand based on how active you've been, how well rested you are, how likely are you to perform at your best today. And certainly I've had days like that where I wake up feeling a little bit groggy, and then I see a high readiness score and get a little extra pep in my step that I wasn't expecting. Can have the opposite effect as well. And on a day where I know I have to go hard and train, or if I'm running a half marathon or something like that, I may wait and see till later in the day what my readiness score is, in case I just want to operate without the full knowledge of what my body's might be telling me in that moment.
Getting back to the Apple Watch and what you're doing there, the devices have some overlapping functions. Why does it make sense maybe for people to own both?
Absolutely, yeah. There are some activity features that we offer that are also offered by the Apple Watch. I think the reason people buy the Oura Ring, if that's the only wearable device they're choosing, is really that we are unique in our form factor. If you wear an Apple Watch to sleep, or any wrist-worn wearable, it can be a little bit uncomfortable to sleep in. It also requires charging overnight because the battery, typically is only a day or so. So, we're 4 to 7 days of battery life, and pretty inconspicuous, easy to wear overnight to sleep without it impacting your comfort. And the finger is the most accurate place to take a heart rate reading. So for really deep, accurate insights into your sleep, into your heart rate, things that require really high accuracy, a lot of people turn to Oura. That being said, the Apple Watch is often used by people even in the Oura community, for instance, to again have some of that activity data close at hand as they're working out. We really intentionally don't have a screen as part of our experience, because we think we can kind of blend into the background and be something that you can wear without having to have, a screen vying for your attention as much. So in that sense, it is complementary for folks that also want that, visible data and kind of real time. The ring is a good companion to that. A lot of people also just wear the Apple Watch because it's a watch, and just the kind of quick at a glance things they can get on their watch that they also might use their phone for otherwise. And so we thought we could really plug nicely into that and be a complement to that, and vice versa, despite being able to get some of the same things from both.
Right. And the ring, people don't know you're wearing a wellness tracker, a fitness tracker, sleep tracker thing at all, really, unless you tell them.
That's right. Yeah, it's a pretty inconspicuous form factor, like you said. For some folks, you might think they're wearing a wedding ring, that sort of thing. But it's fun when you meet other Oura wearers. We have a very passionate community of members, and spotting one another in the real world often sparks mutual camaraderie and conversation. But we think of ourselves as a calm tech company. This idea that technology does play a very big part in our lives. And then for some of us, that can feel like too big of a part, where screens are kind of always vying for our attention. And a lot of the products in the world are trying to gobble up more of that attention. Technology that works more in the service of people, that's there to, provide value, but only when, more on the member's terms, and recede into the background when they're not actively trying to interact with it. That's one of the reasons I love the product myself. It's really there in service of me, and only in those moments when I want to be interacting with it.
We're still early into this year, so I suppose they can play a role in holding people to their resolutions, or maybe even with Valentine's Day coming up. I don't know if anybody's using these as a wedding ring, but they kind of look like one, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's certainly the case. We've seen really high demand throughout the year, and that's continued into this year. This is a popular time to be setting health goals, and I don't know if you saw recently our year in review, but we've been doing a lot to deliver stories to people around how they are doing, not just today in terms of their readiness or activity, but also over a year's time, helping them reflect on their health in a more of an aggregate way. How active was I in 2022? What was my best or worst day of sleep? Insights that are more about that kind of long view can really be motivating for us in terms of what the trajectory we're on is. And so entering this year, that's something I think we've seen a lot of people respond really well to, is how did the summer look for me last year? Or were there moments where I was especially active or not? And how can I think about the year ahead and really take those kinds of insights into consideration?
So with the sensors that you have built into this now, is there still more that you can do with the ring, or
Absolutely.
require new hardware?
No, with the hardware we have today, there's a lot of more innovation to come. We just launched our beta sleep staging algorithm, now rivaling the sleep lab standard for accuracy and sleep measurement. Women's health, like I mentioned, is a big area for us, where we've launched period prediction, and we've launched a partnership with Natural Cycles, you may have heard about, where it's actually an FDA approved fertility tracking company, where we are the companion device really as a default, so that you're no longer having to manually take your temperature every day to do fertility tracking. The ring will do that on your behalf and radically simplify the experience of tracking your fertility. But in women's health, there's a lot more investment for us to come on that front. We've been collaborating with UCSD and UC Berkeley in studies around women's reproductive health, and how continuous temperature tracking can spot hormonal changes in women's bodies, and even indicate things like pregnancy and have key events in their menstrual cycle like ovulation. So a lot more to come there, some of which does have some regulatory requirements we also want to be conscious of as we move more into those spaces, but a lot more innovation to come from us on those fronts.
And some new partnerships, perhaps, it sounds like. So
yeah,
and the temperature sensing certainly is valuable for everyone, because it can give you kind of a heads up if you might be getting a cold or the flu or something worse. I mean, you were widely used during COVID.
You got it. That's exactly right. And yeah, I'd like to say entirely in the past tense. Of course, we're still kind of in the midst of that. But yeah, a big moment for the company in that sense, where we recognized this was a device that could play a really meaningful role in measuring those warning signals. And we, as the NBA sent their players back to play, they gave every player an Oura Ring as a way to just monitor COVID risk. And they were able to, identify players that might not want to be sent to the floor in case they were at risk of COVID, encouraging them to get a test a bit sooner than they might have otherwise, and stopping the thread as a result. Certainly more opportunity for us beyond COVID there. And in some senses, you can think of the Ring as a check engine light, where, we may not tell you the exact specific illness you may be struggling with. We can tell you when something looks off in your data that might suggest you want to go talk to a doctor or take a test. And we see that, beyond illness. We see folks who may have had a heart condition that they were totally unaware of until they spotted an unusual change in their heart rate, and they go to the doctor and come to find that they had, what could have been a life-threatening situation, but they were able to head it off much sooner than had they, waited for their body to really have more evidence, signs of it. So really excited about, all the work we can do there around just helping people monitor their health. Your health is not a one-time fixed picture. It's something that changes, and the Ring is something that can help you track that.
Terrific. So tell us about the pricing, how that works for the Ring itself, and there is a subscription model as well.
Yeah, that's right. So we have a range of rings starting at $299, and then with the Ring, you do get a month trial of membership, and then $6 a month from there. Membership helps us fund new tech innovations and new advances in hardware, such as the recent Horizon Ring you may have seen, which is circular all the way around. But it also allows us to deliver, richer personalized insights and data on top of the things the Ring tracks. And invest in some of the, vanguard research I just mentioned. Our members are continually pushing us to offer more and deeper areas in which we can track. And membership is one way in which we can reinvest into making the Ring more powerful for our members.
And people might wonder, okay, so everything that has a battery only lasts for so long. What do we know about the longevity of the Oura Ring?
Oura Ring is a very sturdy device. I'm blown away by it. We have some incredible engineers behind this thing with pedigrees that, I've not seen in any company I've been at previously. And, this Ring will hold up extremely well. You should at least expect a couple solid years of use out of it and beyond. And we have an incredible customer service emphasis as well. If ever you have an issue with the Ring, you let us know, and we'll have another one out to you, or we'll take care of whatever your issue may be. But the Ring is regarded as extremely high quality and has very long longevity as well, something we take a lot of pride in.
Terrific. For more information, the place to go is Oura, O-U-R-A, ring.com. Jason Russell, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you, Fred. Have an awesome day.